What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Monday, March 18th, 2024, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 14:10 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming out of Belarus, Taiwan, and Russia this morning. So, apparently, Belarus has redeployed an entire mechanized brigade to the border of Lithuania within just 10 kilometers of the border with Lithuania. And also, they have now set up an armed checkpoint just 10 kilometers from the border with Lithuania. And this checkpoint includes a T 72, which is a tank, and a BMP, which is an infantry fighting vehicle, as well as armed soldiers. So this is extremely concerning, and another sign that Belarus and or Russia are planning some type of an attack on the Baltic countries very soon, possibly. We also have some breaking news coming out of Taiwan. Apparently, Taiwan has put their Patriot missiles on high alert after North Korea tested 3 short-range ballistic missiles yesterday, and there was a flurry of emergency action messages, and there were so many of them that many experienced radio operators were saying that they've never heard that many emergency action messages at one time in such a short period. And an emergency action message is a nuclear attack option that is broadcasted by the Pentagon to U.S. nuclear forces. And also, Putin said last night in his victory speech when he got reelected that Taiwan was part of China. We also have some breaking news coming out of the Kremlin. The Kremlin said today that they were planning to create a sanitary zone, whatever that means, in parts of Ukraine to keep parts of Russia out of artillery range of Ukrainian forces. Okay. And so this could mean the Kharkiv Oblast potentially, because there's been a lot of partisan activity over the last week in Belgorod and Kursk, and the partisans are continuing to attack Russian forces in Russia. So that's not going away. If anything, it's intensifying. I have some footage I want to share with you from today in Russia showing all the shelling going on and a massive amount of losses being reported by the Russian partisans. And they're saying that they've killed 600 Russian soldiers already. So here you can see a picture of this border checkpoint near Lithuania in Belarus. Okay, and I reported first about this a few days ago, and now they're officially redeploying this 19th Mechanized Brigade to the Padalyani village, just 16 kilometers from the border of Lithuania. Look at that, guys. Look at how close that is. So, an entire Belarusian mechanized brigade is going to be at the Padalyani village, just 16 kilometers from the border of Lithuania. And this information is coming from a Belarusian open source group. And I want to read to you what they're saying about all of this. They said, according to our information, as part of the combat readiness inspection, units of the 19th Mechanized Brigade will be deployed in the vicinity of the Padalyani village. The settlement is located about 16 kilometers from the Lithuanian border. The brigade's units will be stationed in Pastavi district until the second half of April. The redeployment of the units may start in the near future. Locals recently reported about a helicopter spotted in the vicinity of Pastavi. According to our data, on March 16th, an Mi-8 helicopter of the Belarusian Air Force arrived at the former Pastavi airfield from Machilishchi. Thus, as part of the combat readiness inspection, units of the 19th Mechanized Brigade will be deployed in 2 districts of Belarus bordering Lithuania, Ashmiany and Pastavi. The choice of the locations is not random. The brigade is part of the Northwest Operational Command, whose task is to cover the Lithuanian and Latvian directions. We note that the following facilities are located in Pastavi and its vicinity. So this is some of the equipment that's located in this area where this brigade is going to. The 3rd Regional Node of Electronic Reconnaissance of the 153rd Separate Radio Technical Brigade, which is a Belarusian Special Forces Brigade. Previously, they were looking for operators with knowledge of English and Ukrainian. The 1st Radio Technical Center of the 2289th Separate Radio Technical Battalion of the 49th Radio Technical Brigade, the Aviation Unit of the Belarusian Ministry of Emergency Situations, the Pastavi Border Commandant's Office, and the 1st Military Hospital of Border Guard Bodies. So this is huge, guys. Very, very concerning. They're going to be redeploying an entire brigade. The 19th Mechanized Brigade of the Belarusian Army is going to be redeploying, okay? This update was sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, My Patriot Supply has brought back their 25% discount on their 3-month emergency food supply. And to get the discount, you got to use the link preparewithnYprepper.com. And the link is in the description below this video. But this 3-month emergency food supply has a 25-year shelf life. It includes over 2,000 calories per day. Breakfasts, lunches, dinners, drinks, and snacks, all contained within 6 rugged, water-resistant buckets, and free shipping is included. So use the link preparewithnYprepper.com to get $200 off or 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply. The link is in the description below this video. Free shipping is included. They also have a general store where they sell all kinds of prepping and survival products, and they're always running various discounts. And to get to their general store, you just got to click on the My Patriot Supply logo when you get to preparewithnYprepper.com at the top of the page, and you'll see their general store where they sell all kinds of prepping and survival products, and they're always running discounts here. So use the link preparewithnYprepper.com to get 25% off of the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply, and the link is in the description below this video. So they're going to be stationed there until the second half of April, and after that, who knows? Are they going to invade Lithuania, or are they going to continue their deployment there? Okay, but there is now a border checkpoint near Lithuania covered by a T-72 and a BMP, and we've seen Belarus do this on their border with Ukraine. They have all these armed checkpoints on their borders with Ukraine with tanks covering the border, okay? So this is not a good sign, and I first reported this a few days ago when there was a train spotted at the Ashmiani train station, and there were T-72s and BMPs being unloaded at that train station. And Belarus is also doing territorial defense drills in the Valeka district, which is just 40 kilometers from Lithuania, from April 2nd through the 26th. Okay, this is extremely suspicious, guys. This is exactly what Belarus and Russia did right before they invaded Ukraine. They said they were doing a so-called exercise, okay? And Belarus has put their entire military on combat alert, and they're doing combat readiness checks across the entire country, okay? Here we have a picture of some of the Belarusian army soldiers training with their BMPs. BMPs are amphibious vehicles, okay? They're used for crossing bodies of water. There's a lot of water and lowland areas in Belarus and in the Baltic countries, and BMPs are perfectly suited for crossing bogs and wetlands and also streams and rivers, and there's a lot of them in that area, okay? So this is extremely concerning, guys. And last night, for some reason, the White House was completely dark. Here we have a picture looking towards the White House, and you can see there was no electricity on. very unusual. Maybe they were doing some kind of an exercise. And for some reason, Obama arrived at 10 Downing Street today in London to meet with Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister of Great Britain. And this could be proof that Obama is actually still president. I mean, it just looks like he's still president just by the way he's walking. And I mean, it just seems like he never left, basically. So this is extremely unusual and very interesting. I'm going to monitor the situation for you and keep you updated. The Kremlin said on Monday that the only way to protect Russian territory from Ukrainian attacks was to create a buffer zone that would put Russian regions beyond the range of Ukrainian fire. The Kremlin was commenting after Vladimir Putin raised the possibility of setting up such a zone in a speech after winning re-election on Sunday. In a call with reporters, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said, against the backdrop of Ukrainian drone attacks and the shelling of our territory, public facilities, residential buildings, measures must be taken to secure these territories. They can only be secured by creating some kind of buffer zone so that any means that the enemy uses to strike us are out of range. After winning re-election, Putin said he did not rule out setting up such a buffer zone. I do not exclude that, bearing in mind the tragic events taking place today, that we will be forced at some point when we deem it appropriate to create a certain sanitary zone in the territories today under the Kiev regime. Okay, so this is extremely concerning, guys. And here we have a picture of Taiwan's Patriot missile batteries being set up somewhere in a residential area. This is extremely unusual, and it does appear that Taiwan has put their Patriot missile batteries on high alert for some reason. And here we have a clip of Vladimir Putin saying that Taiwan belongs to China.
First of all, it has to do with the attempts to make all kinds of provocations around Taiwan, which is an inherent part of the People's Republic of China. And to make all kinds of provocations around Taiwan, which is an inherent part of the People's Republic of China.
He said Taiwan is an inherent part of the People's Republic of China.
To make all kinds of provocations around Taiwan, which is an inherent part of the People's Republic of China.
And the Chinese Defense Ministry says they're prepared to intervene militarily if the United States or NATO attacks Russia. And the EU today approved more sanctions against Russia after the death of Navalny. And the EU officially declared today that Russia's election over the weekend was illegitimate, basically saying that Putin is the illegitimate president of Russia. So that sets up a lot of things now, including military action to get rid of him. And the El Pas newspaper, which is based out of Spain, is saying that NATO personnel are already in Ukraine for arms control, intelligence operations, and military training. During the more than 2 years of the war, El Pas has interviewed multiple military sources, both Ukrainian and from EU countries, who agree that no NATO member army has participated in ground combat actions, but they also agree that they do have informants on the ground to provide knowledge about the situation on the front, to identify the effectiveness of the weapons supplied and possible problems in their use, as well as to detect possible cases of corruption concerning the aid provided. Part of these unofficial informants are retired foreign military personnel fighting as volunteers in the ranks of the armed forces of Ukraine. At least 2 sources, one American and one Ukrainian, claim that Washington is particularly active in monitoring their assistance with missions arranged between its embassy and the Ukrainian authorities, but also in inspections outside institutional channels. So no surprise there. And I want to update you guys on those EAMs from last night. There was a massive amount of them. So apparently VLF traffic is still active. Okay, that's very low frequency. This is being reported by some radio operators. Okay, and so that means that the U.S. military is still on high alert. The U.S. nuclear forces are still on high alert if there's still a lot of VLF traffic. So something spooked them yesterday. It could have been the North Korean missile launch, but they're still on high alert because VLF traffic is still active. And I want to just show you guys some footage here from Russia. Okay, this is coming out of Belgorod. You can see this building here completely reduced to rubble by shelling, and this was done by the Russian partisans. Here we have a video showing some multiple fires here coming out of the horizon. You can see one in the back there, and then something burning over here. This is in Belgorod. So the situation is really spiraling out of control over there in Belgorod and in Kursk. These Russian partisans are making big moves. And here we have some footage from this morning. You can hear all the shelling in the background. Listen into this. I mean, this is insane, guys. It's like literally a full-blown war over there in Belgorod. Here we have some more footage coming in from this afternoon here in the U.S., so it's already nighttime over there in Russia. Listen to this. So the partisans are still very active, and according to their social media, they're claiming that they have taken out 613 Russian military personnel and captured 27 Russian military personnel, which they are now holding as prisoners of war. And they destroyed 7 tanks, which include 3 T-72s and 1 T-72BZ. 20 infantry fighting vehicles were destroyed, 6 howitzers of the D-30 variant, 4 armored personnel carriers, 4 mortars, 2 MT-12 Rapiers, 2 2S-19 MSTA-S, 2 Zala UAVs, 1 BM-21 Grad, 1 complex of Murom, 1 electronic warfare station, 1 repeater, 2 units of armored vehicles, 2 units of engineering equipment, which were excavators, and 57 units of various automotive equipment, both heavy and light. They also say that they disabled a T-80 PVM, a T-72, a BMP, a BM-21 Grad, 2 MTLBs, 1 MSTA-B, 1 TOS-2. The TOS is the thermobaric rocket launcher, 1 BM-21 Grad, 1 2C-1 Carnation, 1 electronic warfare station, 1 armored vehicle, and 20 units of various automotive equipment, heavy and light. So they did a lot of destruction and damage to these Russian military vehicles. Okay, dozens and dozens of tanks and armored vehicles have already been destroyed by these Russian partisans. This is very, very serious, guys. And apparently 4 Ukrainian drones were shot down at a refinery in Yaroslavl, Russia. Okay, this was at the Slavnet Yanos refinery. Okay, so Ukraine was trying to hit another refinery. And what you're looking at here is a picture of a Russian oil refinery showing multiple plumes of smoke coming from the refinery. Okay, so Ukraine is continuing to hit these refineries in Russia, and Russia is one of the largest exporters of oil and gas in the world. I think they're actually the number 1 exporter of oil and gas. So this is going to affect their economy. It's also going to affect their ability to supply the troops on the front lines with fuel. So want to just play some of the emergency action messages from last night. And what's interesting is that there were so many emergency action messages that they were literally talking over each other. So here's a clip of the two emergency action messages broadcasting at the same time on the same frequency, and it sounded like they were talking over each other. Very interesting. I've never heard this, and I've been monitoring emergency action messages for several years, and multiple people that I've spoken with who monitor emergency action messages also said they've never heard this. Some people have been monitoring them for decades and they haven't heard this. So let me play this for you. So you can actually hear two distinct male voices in this recording. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but I can hear it. Here we have some video footage coming from the Polish-Belarusian border, and you can see a bunch of migrants that were sent to the border, and the Polish border guard is claiming that these migrants were sent there by the Belarusian government to create some type of a hybrid attack on Poland. And you can see this border fence is working well. Poland erected this fence 2 or 3 years ago when Belarus sent thousands and thousands of Middle Eastern migrants to the border of Poland, and they tried to cross the border. And you can see here they're throwing sticks. And here we have a Polish soldier here, okay, trying to deal with these migrants. Okay, so looks like Belarus may try to do another one of these hybrid attacks on Poland and release, hundreds and hundreds of migrants and cause problems for them, or they may just invade Poland. And I want to just remind you guys that on Thursday of last week, Germany did a nationwide civil defense test, and I had multiple subscribers send me these screenshots from their cell phones showing an emergency alert that was sent out at 11 a.m. local time in Germany. And apparently they were also testing air raid sirens. Okay. So this is very unusual and very concerning because Germany only does those tests once a year, from what I understand. And that was the second test in under 6 months, which is unheard of in Germany. Okay. I want to just shout out Steve Quayle. Check out stevequayle.com. Some of you guys may know who he is. And I wanted to just thank him for sharing out my videos on his channel. He's done some really good work in Mexico with some archaeological expeditions where him and his team were looking for some alien artifacts. Very interesting. I highly recommend you check that out. But check out Steve Quayle. And we have an eruption of the volcano in Iceland again. Here we have some video footage of this volcano last night in Reykjavik. It's the third time it erupted. Check this out. Massive eruption again from this huge crack just north of the town of Grindavik in Iceland. So this thing is just going to continue to erupt. Okay, this is the third time already. It seems to be erupting like once a month, and it'll just erupt for like 1 or 2 days really intensely, and then it just quiets down and just completely stops, like somebody just turned a valve or something and shut it off. And then a month later, the same thing. So we got to keep an eye on this area. I'm going to monitor it for you. Okay, but looks pretty cool, actually. It's really beautiful. It sounds weird, but kind of looks beautiful seeing this lava in the middle of the night, these bright colors. And, that's just God's creation, even though lava is destructive, it's also a builder. Volcanoes build things, they build islands, so they're important. And here we have a picture of this lava coming out of this crack in the earth here. And here we have a live camera coming from this eruption, and you can see it's still quite active. But according to the Iceland Met Office, they're saying that the eruption has slowed down since yesterday, and mostly the southern part of the crack is where the lava is coming out of, and the northern part of the crack has already stopped erupting. Okay, but there's still eruptions going on, as you can see, and they're saying that it's actually stable. So, meaning that it's not increasing and it's not decreasing, it's kind of just staying where it is at the moment. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, but I'm going to monitor the situation for you guys. But check that out. That looks really cool. And the New York Post is reporting that an illegal alien from Lebanon was captured at the Mexican border and told U.S. border authorities he's a Hezbollah terrorist and he was hoping to make a bomb in the U.S. Okay, that was reported by the New York Post. And apparently, the Azerbaijani president is meeting with the NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg. So I wonder if Azerbaijan is going to be the next country to join NATO. Okay, very interesting. And Chinese vessels apparently blocked and chased a Philippine Coast Guard ship heading to the Bayo de Masinloc in the Scarborough Shoal for almost 21 hours, according to U.S. maritime security expert Ray Powell. 21 hours, guys. That's a long time to be blocking and chasing another ship. And Iran deployed another Cobra jamming vehicle to the Persian Gulf, to the Strait of Hormuz. So it looks like Iran is going to try to start jamming U.S. and Western planes and ships in the area, jamming their GPSs and radars. And Pakistan and Afghanistan are basically at war right now, with Afghani forces taking over some Pakistani military outposts in the Khost province after having crossed the Durand Line into Pakistan. The Durand Line is the border between Pakistan and Afghanistan. So the Afghani forces crossed into Pakistan in the Khost province and took over some outposts there. Wow. And we have mass protests starting in Cuba against the communist regime. People have taken to the streets in Bayamo, Ciego de Avila, Holguin, and Santiago. And we actually have a video of these anti-communist protests spurring up in Cuba. Let me share it with you. Apparently, that woman was shouting, "Down with communism, down with Diaz Canal." So I'll keep an eye on the situation there for you guys, but that's the latest breaking news that I have. I will be back tonight with more breaking news, so make sure you're subscribed. Hit the bell icon down below so you get notified when I post these updates. And also, a lot of people have been reporting that they can't find my channel when they search my name, NYPrepper, on YouTube. So the best way to easily find my channel is to type in youtube.com/NYPrepper. That'll take you directly to my YouTube channel. Or in the search box, just put the @ symbol in front of NYPrepper. Okay, so one word, @NYPrepper, and that'll also pull up my channel because that's my YouTube handle, @NYPrepper. You can also go to my website, NewYorkPrepper.com, and I post all my recent videos from YouTube onto my website. It takes a little bit of time for them to populate. It usually takes like a couple of hours, but if, let's say, you haven't watched me for a day or so, you can check my website and it'll have like my last 10 videos or so. But that's pretty much it for this one. I will be back this evening. So until then, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.